Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. If you're new to wedding photography, one of the most stressful things, in my opinion, is prepping for your wedding days. You can be worried how it's gonna go when you're taking your pictures and what you're gonna do for your settings, but in all honesty, being prepared before the wedding day is way more important than what you're gonna do during the day itself. Let's talk about some of the things that I do and focus on to get myself prepped and ready for a wedding day. Now, you may think this list is all just going to be charging your cameras and things of that sort, which clearly is important. But the number one most important thing you should do before your wedding day is have a pre-wedding meeting with your couple. Generally, I'll have this meeting about 30 to 15 days out from the wedding, and it's a quick meeting to check in with my couple. I have it in my automation pipeline, so an email is automatically sent to them to let them know to schedule that meeting so that I don't have to do any part of that either. If you're curious about my automations, I'm pretty sure I have a video about it you could check out right up above. But automating this helps because then I don't have to remember when it's coming up. They're gonna go ahead and schedule this meeting. Now, the pre-wedding meeting is extremely important because we're going over the last P's and Q's and making sure that we have everything dotted and crossed and whatever you want to say. In this meeting, I'm making sure I have the address of the venue because sometimes, honestly, if you're doing like a backyard wedding or a venue in the middle of nowhere, you may know the name of the venue, but you may not have the address. And this is extremely important to make sure you have the address because you don't want to be showing up to the wrong place. Especially if you have a wedding that has multiple locations like a church and a venue and maybe somewhere else, make sure you have every single address written down and ready to go. I also ask my couples about any timeline information that I might not have, any special things that are going on during the day, dances, special events. Sometimes this stuff slips the crack and it doesn't end up in the timeline. Especially if you have a smaller wedding where there's not a planner, double check on these things all the time because you'll be surprised at the stuff they'll tell you in this last meeting that you literally had no idea of. Funny enough, I actually just had a pre-wedding meeting right before recording this video, and one thing that came up that I did not know was my couple wanted to do table shots with all of their guests. Now, the way they want to do this is they're going to stand somewhere, and then when their guests are called for food, the guest will come up and then they'll take a photo with them. But I had no idea this was going on. So again, this is why you have these meetings. Last but not least, I also give my couples tips. If I'm doing all the detail shots, I'll let the bride to know to get all of her stuff together in like a shoebox or something so that the maid of honor or the mother of the bride or someone could just hand it off to me. This is a lot easier because then I don't have to bug her while she's getting her hair and makeup done. Little tips like this are the last couple of things I'm gonna ask my couple about as well so that they know what I need from them as well. And you know what? I lied. Not last but not least, if you have any couples who also have a blended family or step parents, you're gonna wanna ask about who's gonna be there, who's not gonna be in photos, who needs to be separated. Obviously, this stuff should come up on your shot list, but ask again at this meeting because again, you don't wanna be at the wedding calling for mom and dad, but mom and dad are separated and they're step parents now, and then like, you cause a huge fight and like that's the last thing you want to do as the wedding photographer. So have a pre-wedding meeting. It is highly important, the number one thing to do before your wedding day. The second way to prep for your upcoming wedding is to go over your timeline and your shot list. I was just mentioning that, and that was the perfect segue into this. If you don't have your timeline already, you should have asked for it at that pre-wedding meeting, or you should already have the timeline. If not, you should have also written your own photographer timeline, which I generally do for my couples, so that they know what I want during the day. Even if there is a planner, you should be writing your own timeline as well. But again, double check your timeline and also your shot list. So one thing I do a little different on my shot list, I'm not a huge fan of the Instagram, Pinterest board type shot list. I don't want my couples telling me exactly what to do because at that point, I'm not a photographer, I'm not an artist, I'm just a guy pressing the shutter. So my shot list or more so are gonna be things that my couple really enjoy, things that I may not know about, and also their family shot list. And out of all three of those things, the family shot list is the absolute most important. Now, for things that my couple like, that is kind of like a Pinterest board, but think of it more like a mood board. Less of, oh, I really want a photo like this, and more of like, I like the vibe of this photo. I like how it feels. Cool. That gives me an idea of the type of things you like, and I can keep that in mind in my own style while I'm taking photos. The second thing is going to be the things I don't know about. Now, these are more important. This is like we have special shoes that we're switching into. The groom has stuff on the inside of his suit jacket, like words printed on or something of that sort. I have a dress change. I'm wearing my mother's old dress, something like that I would just not know. Again, what I tell my couples is I've been shooting weddings now for like 12 years. I'm gonna know all the things to take a photo of, so I don't need like me and my husband and the flowers and the front of the venue. I know that stuff. I need to know these things that I'm not gonna know. The special stuff about your family, the fact that grandma is really old and is not doing too well. I don't know these things, and that's what I want on the shot list. And then the third thing, the family shot list is the most important. First off, because of what I was talking about before, if you have a blended family and if there's any step parent beef going on, but also because it makes it go a lot quicker. When I get a family shot list from my couples, I want it broken down into exactly every single shot. So I don't just want everyone's names. I want like bride, groom, parents, bride, groom's siblings, and I want everyone's names listed. This way, when I get to the family shots, I can just go ahead and call out everyone's names, or I can have my second photographer do that, and now I don't have to worry about who's taking photos where. Also, as another tip, it actually will protect you from those aunts or mothers or uncles who want to take 50 billion photos, because there's always one person at a wedding who's like, oh, do this, oh, do that, oh, and you're like, please just, can we take the photos? Even I've seen couples who are just totally annoyed, like, can we just take the photos? Now, if you have a shot list, what you can do is say, okay, cool, hold on one moment. We're gonna get through our shot list first, and then we can go and look at the photos that you would like to take. And generally what happens is a lot of what they want was in the shot list anyway, they just didn't realize it. So you go through the shot list, they see it, it's fine, everything's fine. And then there's maybe like one or two extra combinations that mother of the bride wanted. So you can go ahead and get those in real quick, and it's not a big deal. So make sure you're making these shot lists. And then again, to prep, double check all this stuff. Make sure all the information is correct. Print out a physical copy and also have it on your phone. Trust me with the printable copies. You can hand it off to people. It looks better when you're looking at it, not just your phone. There's a lot of reasons why you should be printing these off. I know it's old school, but trust me on that. Before we get into the next thing that I do to prep for my wedding days, let's not forget to talk about this video sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace is an online platform to help you quickly and easily build your website. And I'm so grateful for them continuing to sponsor my channel so that I can bring you all of this great wedding photography information. As a wedding photographer, having a website is extremely important. And in my opinion, Squarespace is one of the easiest ways to do it. Their templates look great and are customizable, so you can have your website look however you would like it to. I've been using Squarespace now for over 10 years. I've customized my website multiple times, and I love the way that it's turning out and looking now. And on top of its look and how easy it is to use, Squarespace hands down has some of the best and easiest to use features. My personal favorite and the one I use the most is Commerce, where you can sell physical and digital products. I also recently started using Squarespace Payments, so they can handle the payments directly inside of the Squarespace platform. And honestly, you get your payments a lot quicker that way as well. So I'm a huge fan of Squarespace Payments. On top of that, you have blog pages, analytics, member pages, and so much more you can do. You can really grow your business into Squarespace. So if you're looking to check it out yourself or start a website, you can get 10% off of your first website or domain with the link in the description below. Make sure to check that out and have a beautiful website for your wedding photography business. The third thing I'm doing to prep for my weddings, which again I spoke about, is checking all of my addresses. I want to make sure I have the addresses and the locations where I'm going to be at on the wedding day. I want them all listed out. I want them on my timeline, and I want it printed out so I'm not missing where I need to go. With checking this information as well, you need to be relaying it to your second photographer also. Don't just leave them hanging with the name of the venue. Give them the actual address so they can plug it into their phone or their GPS if you're still rocking one of those, and they can make sure they're getting where they need to be. No one's getting lost. Everyone's there. There's no, oh, sorry, I didn't have the address. None of that. Check your locations before the wedding day. Now that we've done all the pre-information type stuff, we're going to get into the more typical things that you should already know to do, but I'm going to list them out for you just to make sure, especially if you're brand new. Charge all your batteries. Charge all the batteries and have multiple extra batteries. I shoot with the X-T5s mainly, sometimes the GFX system, and generally having about 6 batteries is more than enough. Make sure you have a nice charger that can charge multiple batteries at a time. This will make everything much simpler, but you want to charge all your batteries the night before and make sure you're bringing a huge extra set of batteries. You should know this based on your cameras as well. Again, like I said, if I'm shooting X-T5s, I'm getting to about halfway through ceremony before my first change, and then pretty much mid-reception for my second change, and that's about it. So realistically, I only need like 4 batteries. The GFX system, however, I don't really clock where the batteries are running out, but I'm definitely going through all 6 of those on the GFX system. So know your cameras, know how long they last. Turn your cameras off and on during the day whenever you don't need them to save some battery, and charge everything. This also is going to include your flashes as well. I personally do not have additional batteries for my flashes because I know they can hold a charge throughout more than a whole day, but you want to make sure you charge all the batteries to your flashes as well. I have an extra charger for my flashes so I can charge 2 batteries at a time, but again, charge everything. Clearly this one is obvious, but I have to say it again. After this, you're going to want to pack all of your gear up. Now, there's a bunch of different ways you can pack and carry your gear, but if you know me, I like to be light and mobile. I learned this while I was starting wedding photography in New York City. There was a lot of moving around. Sometimes I even just took the subway to weddings, and being light was much more beneficial for me than bringing like every piece of gear ever. Generally, I'm going to the wedding with 1 bag, 2 flashes, 4 lenses, and that's about it. Recently, because I can drive, I started doing off-camera flash more often. So technically I'm going with 4 flashes, but that's still about it. 4 lenses, 4 flashes, 1 bag, and that's it. Actually, I've truncated it down. I might only be doing 3 lenses going forward. So again, you don't need a lot of stuff. If you've seen stuff online and you see people like, you need 50, but you really don't. However, you should have a backup camera with you, which sometimes I do bring. If I'm bringing backup cameras, then I have 2 bags, but the second bag, really, I just kind of sit somewhere or leave in my car as just like an emergency grab. You're also going to want to bring your SD cards. Generally, you'll have 4 on you if you're doing 2 cameras like me. That's 2 for each camera, and then bring another 2 just in case anything happens to your SD cards. On top of that, if you have a second photographer, you'll want to bring an additional 2 for them as well. So you're talking 8 SD cards in total for every wedding day. And I know it sounds like a lot, but you're a wedding photographer. This stuff is serious. You need to take it serious. You need to have all the gear that you need to have. The last couple of accessories I'm packing in my bags as well is going to be some type of LED or constant light. I generally use the Lume Cubes, but I'm thinking about switching to Nanlite. Either way, something small and LED that I can put in my hot shoe. I'm generally using these for sparkler exits, so they're a must-have in my bags, and I like them better than using flashes. If you're curious why, definitely check out this video above on how I do my sparkler exits, but the LED looks so much better than using flash while doing sparklers. Also, I bring a flat lay mat with me. This way I can do flat lays anywhere I want to and they look great. Sometimes I don't use them, but again, I'm gonna bring this accessory with me just in case. So the overall packing is 1 bag, 2 cameras, 8 SD cards, 6 batteries, 4 flashes, 4 lenses, a flat lay mat, and 2 LED lights for my hot shoes. Now that I have all my gear packed and everything I'm gonna bring with me to the wedding, the last thing I do to prep for a wedding day is packing some water and some snacks. Now, generally I don't bring my snacks with me to the wedding. This is stuff I'm gonna leave in the car, a snack before the wedding, a snack after the wedding, especially if for some reason I don't get a vendor meal, which happens sometimes. If you're new to weddings, I have a fair warning to you. Getting vendor meals sometimes is a struggle. So make sure you're packing some kind of snack or something so that you're not shooting for 8, 10, 12 hours with no food whatsoever. And then you leave the wedding, you still don't have food. And now everything's closed because it's late and you live in a place like I do where everything shuts down at like 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, make sure you have a little bit of food with you and also some water. For storing my water, I like to use Corksicles because they're like thermoses and they keep their temperature, and I'll throw in like 2 to 3 pieces of ice in there with the water. This way, even if the Corsicle is sitting in my car all day during the summer, getting hot, the water's still gonna be fairly cold when I get to it after the wedding. Having this is huge. Now, I'm not drinking water during the wedding day unless I can get some while I'm on site, which that's another story. Sound off in the comments below. I actually like to work out fasted and I don't drink water when I'm at the gym. So maybe I'm just weird, but I really don't drink water during a wedding day until the opportunity comes up. I'm not bringing my own waters for me. But this is why after the wedding, when I get in the car on the drive home, when I tell you I'm like the whole drive, like I'm going in on that Corsicle and getting hydrated. So it's good to have that packed and in the car with you. These are all the things that I'm doing to prep for my wedding days. And also, if you want to see what a full wedding day looks like, definitely check out this playlist here with all my full wedding day behind the scenes videos.